So I've been working through my film photography that I've had back from Analog Wonderland, and I've come to the conclusion that my photos, they're not really that good.
They say humans are social animals. They can't live alone. But you can live pretty well by yourself. I tell you, instead of feeling alone in a group, it's better to have real solitude all by yourself. So it doesn't matter.
Dad, they've got something for you. Coffee and walnut cake.
Wish I had that. You distanced yourself from the whole thing.
You can't preview it. You can't delete it if you don't like it. You can't take hundreds of photos on a memory card. They don't have memory cards. They have one roll of film, and they tend to come in either 24 shots or 36 shots. Okay, so you take your photos, you take your camera home. You have to take the film out of the camera. You have to pop it in a little envelope and send it to somebody like Analog Camera World. You have to post the film to be developed. You can do it yourself, but you have to get the chemicals at home. You have to have an extremely dark room so that no light leaks into it. You have to get the temperatures right, blah, blah, blah. So if you're like me, an enthusiast, you just send it away. So the film's been sent away. You have to wait 2, maybe 3 weeks before they get posted back. When they get posted back, they come in little film strips. Wait there. Okay. So this is the film you put in your camera. Comes looking like this, like a little canister. Tiny. When it's been developed, it comes back looking something like this. That's your strip of film. You then have to scan that. You have to buy a scanner, scan it onto your computer to then. So for the sake of 36 photos that you don't know what they look like, you don't know what the quality is like, film comes with a set ISO or ISO, whichever you want to say. So you can't adjust that. You have to keep it on that ISO. Like whereas digital cameras, you can change the ISO from like 100 to 100,000 depending on your lighting conditions. You can't do that with film. So with film, you have to adjust your shutter speed and your aperture. So you can't look at your photos, you can't review them, you can't delete them and start again. You've got to send them off. You don't get to see them for 3 weeks, maybe more. And you have to sit down and either scan them yourself or pay a lab even more money to scan them for you. But take this into account, if the lab scans it for you, they've done the editing, they've made the decisions for you as to what that film should look like. Are you definitely in the
I
vlog?
want to go home. I've got milk for this. It's cold. My lashes are gonna fall off.
It is a bit cold. You're probably thinking to yourself, why then? What is the point of that? That just seems like a complete waste of time and energy. So why bother? Why bother? Because it's the roots of photography. It's a photography history lesson. We're very spoiled with digital cameras that we can review photos. We can take thousands of photos of the same thing and pick out the perfect one. Most modern cameras can even detect eyes, movement, jump between people, shoot at 20 frames a second. Analog cameras don't do that. So it goes back, for me, it was about going back to basics, going back to the beginning and experiencing more of what photography had to offer. So I'm somebody that loves to learn. I love everything photography. I love to learn. I'm very passionate about it. So to go and do something that was completely alien, but photography, was exciting for me. And also, because you only get the 36 shots, you have to take, every photo you take has to count, because each photo costs money, okay? Once you've bought a camera, a memory card, computer, Lightroom, whatever software you want, that's it. You can take as many photos as you like, you can edit as many photos as you like, you can delete as many photos as you like, no extra cost. So for me, what film photography does is it slows you down. I've been getting into reading a lot about mindfulness and photography, and for me, analog photography is definitely mindful, because you take more time, you're more deliberate about the photos that you want to take. You wait and wait for just the right shot. You just don't go snap happy. So, and I think for me, there's a certain magic that film photography has over digital photography, and you're never going to come close to that. So a lot of the old cameras, especially the one I've got, the Canon AE1, is manual focus. I say most digital cameras these days, they have an autofocus system of some sort, which makes life a lot easier, whereas the old ones, you have to take a picture, take your light meter, you then have to focus, set your aperture, set your speed, snap. Something else as well for me, which I think is great, is when you can do something all the time, every day, it kind of loses its appeal to a degree. Obviously with photography, it's about finding new things to photograph, developing yourself. So what I love about film photography is you take your photos and you'll maybe take 5 or 6 canisters worth of film, because obviously paying postage and packaging, you don't want to just send one off at a time. You want to take half a dozen or more rolls of film and then send them away. So some of these rolls of film, you might have shot them months ago, and then they only come back to you every now and again because you send them off in big bundles. So when I get them back and I scan them, straighten them, it's a really nice treat to sort of have those photos. And it's like waiting for Christmas. You know, you've sent them away, you can't wait to see the results, and then you get them back, boom, there they are. Some photographers might argue with me about this, go for it. For me as well, film, the look you get from film photos, you cannot recreate that on a digital photo by adding fake noise, grain, certain color grades. It's just not the same. There's a certain look to film, and I personally think it's definitely a more artistic kind of photography. What was I gonna say? So where'd you start? Google and YouTube. It's as simple as that. Many different films have their own distinct look, their own distinct kind of features, quirks, if you like. So you want to have a look and see which film takes your fancy, really. Cameras, obviously the majority of them, unless you've got money to spend on a Leica, which is about $4.5 grand, you're going to be getting a second-hand old camera. My Canon A1's a 1976 camera. You can pick one up for a couple of £100, and they're all in pretty good condition. The good thing about the likes of the Canon A1, the Olympus and the Nikon is sort of during the 70s and the 80s, they made millions of them. So they're getting there, people are buying them up, but at the minute there's not really a shortage of them. So if it's something you want to get involved in and you want to have a go, you're not going to have to sort of, you're not going to have to spend a shit ton of money just trying to get started. So the film I started off with was Lomography 800. I liked the sort of slightly washed look, and I think it had quite an authentic old style look to it. I also bought something called Ilford HP5 ISO 400, which is a black and white film. The reason I bought that is because apparently you can shoot it at 400, 800, 1600 and still get good quality photos, so there's a bit more leeway to play on. So one of my favorite YouTubers when it comes to film photography is someone called Grainy Days. Really quirky, really funny guy, but he does really good in-depth reviews and looking at film, and then he shows you taking the film out and what the film's capable of. There's the pros, the cons, the shortfalls, all that kind of thing. He covers all of that, and I learn a lot from him. So if you want to kind of narrow your search down, check out Grainy Days. I'll pop a link up here to his channel and get started. So that's it for part one. Like I say, it's going to be a three-parter. So this was just an introduction to film, why I started film, what I started playing around with. Next one, next time. Next time on the channel, I'm going to talk about cinematic film, halation, cine-still, bubble film, all those kind of things, and we're going to take examples from when Hayley and I travelled to Belfast, travelled to Glasgow for some gigs, and we'll talk about film photography. We're on the streets. See you next week. Take care.
You feel it?